Hi, this video is going to be about choice, the illusions of choice based off our thoughts of what we think will happen and the possibility of thinking something will happen and the possibility of thinking that we have more choices than we actually do. We're playing a narrow game. We're playing our role in a game that's already been fleshed out and predetermined based off of the events that happened at the beginning, the theoretical beginning based off of what we know so far. Pretty much everything. We have all the answers basically. It's just we're missing a few key components to the details of these mechanisms that we're trying to figure out and to fully prove the points that we're trying to make, are these philosophies, or these theoretical possibilities that we're trying to prove. And all we're doing is we're playing out our role in this game. We're playing by a mechanism of cause and effect that's led us to where we are based on our own knowledge, moving us in a very particular fashion based off of all the other key components, such as the other people doing the exact same thing, having the exact same experiences of a cause and effect happen on them based off of all the other people and animals and interactions they have around them. So all we're doing is playing out our role in a game full of other people. We're playing a marionette game, only we are the marionette and the puppet at the same time. Yet the marionette, how does it move? It has some kind of predetermination happening, and a predetermination from our point of view is us, and that's where the concept of free will from our point of view exists. But this idea of an illusion of choice, such as, well, I'm going to do this, there's more than obviously one choice. Obviously the outcome could be this way and outcome could be that way. Say the outcome can be I'm going to either squish the spider on the wall or I'm not, and you end up not squishing the spider on the wall, where there's going to be a part where you imagine squishing the spider on the wall from your own point of view, from your own thoughts. But that's a thought mechanism, and that's a thought mechanism that was in and of itself predetermined. And it's the thought mechanism that makes you think that there's more than one choice, but it's only inside your head, the process of you thinking that it would happen, or the open possibility of thinking that choice would be possible, or open to a possibility, even though you didn't end up squishing the spider. The spider's already gone, and you ended up not doing anything. So it was only a thought process that made you think that there was more than one possibility to the outcome of this event. And that's the only thing we're doing, is a self-awareness to these concepts that we keep applying to this reality around us. And that's all we're doing. Since you didn't end up squishing the spider's already gone, and the thought process where you thought that there was more of a possibility where I could have either squished the spider or not squished the spider, and all the outcomes and choices and causes and effects that would have happened because you squished the spider instead of not squishing the spider would have caused all sorts of other effects that necessarily beyond a certain point you wouldn't necessarily be to apply to the thought processes, other than some sort of applying your own expectations to the thoughts of causes and effects that happen from this kind of thing. So it's only a thought process, and it happens beforehand. Retrospectively speaking, when you think about the process you thought beforehand and how you said, oh, there could have been all sorts of choices that stemmed from this possibility and this choice that I made, it was just a choice, and it was a choice that would have happened either one way or another, and the thought process of you squishing the spider, of not doing it instead of not doing it, is only a process that you have beforehand. And retrospectively speaking, looking back at the process, it obviously wouldn't have happened only one way, because it's already said and done, and that's proof enough that once things happen, they're done. And in a way, that's one good way of looking at the fact that we live in a deterministic universe, because once you look back, things happen a certain way. There's no way you can change them. It's constant movement. Things keep happening. You're not going to do anything else but keep playing out your game. If your arm fell off, and yet we had technology to have your arm regrow right back the way it was, it doesn't mean that your arm didn't fall off to begin with. It still fell off, even if you can regrow your arm back. Sort of like these, it's an example used of an injury. Well, once you have the injury, it's there. Well, that doesn't mean, and you put cream on it, and it makes your skin go back to normal. That doesn't mean that time didn't pass, and you didn't get the injury, and now, since it's gone, it didn't happen. It happened, and it predeterminately happened in the past, and just because you can fix these problems and make them go back to the way they were, or at least close enough, doesn't mean these problems didn't exist. Or these processes, these things didn't exist, or whatever problems or these problems or issues that you have, they still happened no matter what. And it's something that, it's part of this game. The illusion of choice is in our minds. It's from our own perspective. That's where our perspective of free will comes from too. It's a marionette game that we're playing, but we're the marionette, and we're the puppeteer and the marionette. We're the ones playing the game and think that we have the illusion that we're playing the game, when in fact very thin strings are controlling us no matter what. So it's something that it's beyond our control, but not beyond our control from looking forward, from where we are going forward. It's beyond our control what's happened in the past. And that means it has nothing to do with the responsibility you will or should not take when it comes to making these choices, because you've obviously done it to this point. You obviously still think that whatever you're doing is getting you far. You wouldn't commit a crime just because someone proved the point that it was a deterministic universe and you seem to have fallen for it, and thinking that just because you all of a sudden think it's deterministic, sort of like believing that there's no God, all of a sudden you're going to start doing all sorts of naughty, dirty things or evil things just because you all of a sudden your illusion of God or your illusion of some sort of free will all of a sudden goes away. So you still, even though it's deterministic, based on your past experiences that have happened that give you the illusion that obviously these things are wrong, or the things that you wouldn't do to begin with, doesn't mean that you would do them just because determinism obviously destroyed this concept, or based off someone's argument of illustrating determinism to you. The idea, unless you went insane based off of this idea and thought it was a good enough rationalization for committing any crime, you obviously wouldn't fall for it unless you went completely insane. So yes, from our point of view, there's obviously choices from our thought processes and thinking that give us the open possibility of thinking that there's obviously more than one choice, when in fact there's only one choice, and the thought process of you thinking that there's more than one choice was obviously part of the same mechanism that's driving you not to kill the spider on the wall. It's a predetermination that obviously once you look back at, you'll recognize as something that there's no other choice but recognizing that, because once things happened, they've happened, and the certain way that they happen is the way that they're always going to remain. And determinism is something that you can only apply when you're looking in the past. Something's going to inevitably happen in the future. The thought processes that I'm thinking about now, I can apply those to the future and make plans and anticipate something happening. But once they've already happened, that's the only real time you can apply it to determination, a predetermination, a determined universe, and how they've applied to the past, leading up to now, leading into something in the future. Something will happen based off past events where I am now, and going on into something that will happen. So I think I've explained everything, so I appreciate it, and goodbye. Until next time.